All right, everyone. So today we're going to talk about Harlowe the Gravitar Vault Hunter. So with this Vault Hunter, the trait is Entanglement. So whenever Harlowe uses her action skill on enemies, those enemies become entangled. Entangled enemies share a portion of gun damage and skill damage with all other entangled enemies. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Chroma accelerator. The creative burst skill tree. With this one, it fires an unstable energy pocket from Harlowe's Chroma accelerator. The unstable energy pocket passes through enemies and deals Kyro damage to all enemies it passes near. Pressing action skill causes the unstable energy pocket to explode and deal heavy radiation damage in a large area. So this is this character right here does a lot of area effects, a lot of mass damage to a lot of enemies. We like this one. This one's really good. The PPE is another passive. Harlowe gains increased maximum shield capacity and shield recharge rate. So with this, remember guys, we have to do 15 points in this top area right here. And then we could go ahead and pick pretty much one of these, I guess, is how it's going to work. So after you put your 15 points in here, you could choose any of these little 3 branches. And you could go ahead and pick one of these capstones right here that are right here. These capstones are the main abilities that we're going to have. And these are just like augments, some passives, stuff like that. This Void Star, whenever Harlowe's unstable energy pocket passes by an enemy, it loses a portion of its current total health and becomes frozen. That's pretty good. All damage Harlowe's unstable energy pocket deals to enemies is stored. Whenever it explodes, a portion of that stored damage is transferred to Harlowe's gun. Causes her to deal bonus radiation damage. That one is actually really good because you could use it. And then you could do extra damage, radiation damage, whenever you shoot them. That's really good. These are all passives. The passives are really good because it's not like an ability. It's just like there. You know, you don't have to like press anything. It's nothing that, that you use. So passives are actually a really good thing to have. But remember, we have to do 15 points in here. So all these seem pretty good. We're going to have to wait till we get into this game to actually try these abilities and stuff out and see if they're viable. So with the branch 1, you have field research. Whenever Harlowe's skill kills an enemy with her unstable energy pocket, and when she kills an entangled enemy while her unstable energy pocket is active, refund a portion of her next action skill cooldown. That's actually really good. Actually really good too. There's some good stuff here. See, the thing that I like about Borderlands is they don't have useless skill trees. There's no useless skill trees. All these skill trees that I've been seeing so far are actually pretty useful for situations. So it's basically situations like this right here. This character is gonna be really good at killing a mass amount of enemies, which is gonna be great. So our first capstone on branch 1 is gonna be Cue Ball. Harlowe's unstable energy pocket bounces as it travels and can no longer be manually detonated. Each time it bounces, it creates a radiation explosion. Whenever it strikes an enemy, it changes direction and bounces towards another enemy. That's kind of cool. Like a little bouncy ball type of deal. That's cool. So branch 2, Harlowe's unstable energy pocket pulls enemies along as it passes by, and its detonation deals increased damage for every enemy it has already hit. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think branch 1 still is better, but branch 2 does look pretty good, I guess. But I'm still voting for branch 1. So the capstone is called Demon Core for branch 2. As Harlowe's unstable energy pocket travels, it shoots radiation darts at enemies. Whenever Harlowe entangles an enemy while her action skill is active, automatically irradiate that enemy. Irradiate. What does irradiate mean? Anyone in chat know what irradiate means? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to branch 3. Containment Breach. Whenever Harlowe's unstable energy pocket detonates, it splits into several smaller, fast-moving unstable energy pockets. That's That's pretty cool. It's like a burst, or it's like a shotgun, you know, like a buckshot or something. That's cool. Rounding up. So for every enemy her action skill damages, Harlowe gains increased gun damage when her action skill ends. Okay, that's a cool passive to have. So the capstone is going to be the Shattering Light, a charge skill. Chroma Accelerator gains charges as Harlowe keeps it readied for the detonation of Chroma Accelerator, or until all charges are used. Holding the action skill ends the Shattering Light early, but it also refunds a portion of the cooldown for every charge remaining. So you could just press the action skill to fire a fast-moving unstable energy pocket, consuming 1 charge. So that's going to be it for this skill tree. It seems pretty promising, actually. Very promising. So let's move on to the 0-point skill tree. Seize the Day. Seize the Day. So with this one, we're going to press action skill to use Harlowe's Halo Accelerator to place an enemy in stasis for a duration. Enemies immune to stasis take damage instead. Pressing action skill again causes the enemy in stasis to be slammed into the ground in the direction Harlowe is facing and creates a small explosion. Retriggering stasis has a cooldown. Okay, I wonder how much of a cooldown that's going to be. So, Seize the Day. Okay, so we got a lot of good passives. The Augment Strange Attractor. When Harlowe shoots an enemy with a gun, bullets ricochet off of that enemy into all enemies in stasis. If Harlowe critically hits an enemy, that enemy becomes entangled. Okay, now Peer Review. Whenever an enemy enters stasis, spawning a homing, rejuvenating projectile that targets Harlowe or her enemy allies. Once the enemy is slammed, killed, or stasis ends, the rejuvenating projectile grants decrease action skill duration rate and increase action skill cooldown rate for a duration. If the target is in fight for your life, they immediately gain second wind as if they killed an enemy. Oh, okay, that's a good augment to have. For sure, a good augment to have. Okay, so we're gonna go to branch 1. Wildcat Destabilization. Entangled enemies take bonus radiation damage from Entangle. Whenever Harlowe deals radiation gun damage to an enemy, restore action skill duration. Whenever Harlowe kills an enemy in stasis, create a radiation nova. This radiation nova deals damage based on remaining action skill durations. That's cool. Slingshot, huh? Well, what's Slingshot? Whenever Harlowe dazes an enemy, she also entangles them and she gains increased movement speed. That's pretty cool. But you have to put a point in force of will. Okay. So the capstone for branch 1 is going to be Falling Bodies. Whoa, Falling Bodies. That sounds crazy. Pressing an action skill places an additional enemy in stasis at the cost of action skill duration. When stasis ends, automatically slam all enemies straight down. That sounds like that other one, right? That's interesting. So branch 2, Cold Storage. All damage dealt in enemies in stasis is stored. Whenever an enemy is slammed or stasis ends, create a Cairo explosion based on all stored damage and centered on that enemy, and also automatically freezes other enemies nearby. Cool. That sounds good. That sounds like a good one. The capstone is going to be Cold Plunge. Whenever Harlowe slams an enemy, create a singularity on that enemy, followed by a Cairo explosion. Okay, we like that one. So branch 3, let's move on. So Inertia. Whenever an enemy Harlowe has in stasis dies, a new enemy is automatically added to stasis. So whenever this happens, Harlowe's action skill duration resets. However, it drains quicker. Oh, okay. So it's going to be Ground State. Every time Harlowe slams an enemy, gain increased slam damage and slam damage radius. Enemies in stasis take decreased damage. Press an action skill to slam all enemies in stasis straight down. Okay. We like that one. That's not bad. I mean, I don't really like that one too much. I'm not a fan. I'm still a fan of Creative Burst. So let's move on to the third one. Flux Generator. And let's see what Flux Generator has to do. So it's a Cosmic Brilliance skill tree. Harlowe throws her Flux Generator in front of her, which projects an enemy field, dealing Kyro damage over time and entangled enemies. Allies inside the energy field gain Overshield. Press an action skill to pick up your Flux Generator and toss it again. Okay, cool. So it's something that you could pick up and toss. Again, that's pretty cool. I like that one. Reusable. So let's go ahead and move on to branch 1. Unified Theory. Harlowe's Flux Generator gains increased action skill damage. This effect is increased based on how many allies and enemies are inside of her Flux Generator. Okay, I like that one. The capstone is going to be Potential Transference. Charge skill. So it's a charge skill. Whenever Harlowe relocates her Flux Generator, it teleports to a location in her crosshairs, consuming a charge and creating a shock burst that deals shock damage to enemies inside it. Grants a free second wind to allies and heals allies within the Flux Generator. Well, that's like a healing thing. Nice. Nice. We got a healer. Cool. That's awesome. I like that. So the branch 2 is a Nuclear Winter. Whenever Harlowe and her allies are inside the Flux Generator's radius, they deal bonus Kyro damage. Whenever Harlowe and her allies leave the Flux Generator's radius, they instead deal bonus radiation damage for a duration. Whenever Harlowe inflicts Kyro or radiation status effects, that enemy becomes entangled. She's like an entangled wizard. Nice. So the capstone is Violent Horizon. Harlowe's Flux Generator occasionally shoots radiation projectiles at nearby enemies. Outside of its radius, if these projectiles irradiate an enemy, the Flux Generator then drags them within its radius. So you can retrigger. It's Harlowe's Flux Generator creates a Singularity Burst that drags in nearby enemies and increased action skill power. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's pretty neat. Okay. Branch 3. Perpetual Engine. When Harlowe activates her Flux Generator, she gains damage reduction and increased action skill duration for each entangled enemy and each additional enemy she entangles while her action skill is active. Okay, so group study. Let's check out this capstone. Harlowe spawns a Halo sidekick for each ally instead of her Flux Generator. Halo sidekicks automatically fly to each ally and hover over them, granting increased gun damage, fire rate, and reload speed. Well, that's insane. Action skill retrigger, so you can retrigger it and overload Harlowe's Halo sidekicks to increase their effects. This effect stacks while overloaded. Harlowe's action skill duration drains faster. Oh, dang. So that's going to be like really quick. That's actually pretty insane for this right here. I think I like this one right here, but I actually might try to use the first action skill, Creative Burst. But Cosmic Brilliance sounds really good. Seize the Day does not really sound all that great. It might be good, but I'm not a fan of that one. I think Creative Burst is probably going to be the best one for Harlowe. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see when we get into the game. So here you have it, guys. Here is Harlowe's ability breakdown. If you guys have anything, leave them in the comments below. What do you guys think of the 3 skill trees, and which ones you think you're going to use? All right, guys, on to the next one.